you open yourself to acceptance. The results that can be so infectious. Catapult and you see the projection. You just gotta know.
Hello YouTube, my name is Wysol and I'm going to be talking about social conditioning today. So, what is social conditioning? If you don't know what social conditioning is, it's very similar to epigenetics, but just on a social scale. So it's the social part of epigenetics, if you know what epigenetics is. So what is social conditioning? Social conditioning, in a short sense, is the conditioning of the mind, the body, and the spirit by social occurrences. So these social occurrences don't just have to be in person, they could be online, like right now. This is, in a technical sense, social conditioning. Now, if you want to get really technical about what conditioning is, it's also programming and implanting scripture and actually spelling. If you want to get really technical in a magical term, it's plus casting a spell. Or, if you want to get really technical, brainwashing. Don't get weird and click off the video. Brainwashing is clearing the mind. It's break the word down. Brainwashing. Clearing the mind of old information and replacing it with new information. What happens when you're in a social occurrence with other people, family members, friends, teachers? What do? They replace the information that you have in your head with new information. If you believe their information, right? If you don't believe it, then that information doesn't get replaced. Okay? So that's what social conditioning is. If you want to get technical about it, is kind of programming through social occurrences. Okay? Now, everyone gets conditioned early on through their family, through friends, early on through early schools, again, family, grandparents, you name it. Now, families, they behave on role expectations. So what do I mean by that? Society has certain roles set for certain people, set for males, set for women, what types of jobs they should do, yada yada yada. You know what I mean. You probably understand that certain thing. The society's got certain perceptions for certain people. You know this. I think everyone does. So yeah, they get conditioned by their family, school, friends, social circumstances. Okay, all social circumstances. Like right now, internet, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. Scrolling through Instagram, that is social conditioning. Scrolling through Facebook, that is social conditioning, because you're looking at social media, right? Social conditioning through social media. Again, media is derived from the term Medea, which is the goddess of deceit. So be cautious as to what media you're being conditioned or programmed by. You could call programs, check out my other video called Magical Programming. You can call programs, you can call them scripts or scriptures. For example, in religious textbooks, you download the script. If you take it in a computer sense, computers and scripts, programs, if you know what I mean, you've got it there. Check out the video if you don't know what I mean, because I won't explain that. I'm trying to explain social conditioning. Okay, so social conditioning doesn't have to be a bad thing. Okay, but when there's a bad system in place, then it is a bad thing. Unless you don't realize that there's a bad system in place. Now, some people are actually kind of hopelessly dependent on the system because of how they've been programmed by the system. But that's because of a reincarnation trap. I was going to explain this later, but I might as well explain it now because I've had to explain it now. Yeah, it's known as a reincarnation trap. Over years, over lifetimes, the white light trap. Anyway, back to social conditioning. The system in place has conditioned the populace to be docile, okay? Using chemical warfare, psychological warfare, sport control systems, you name it. There's a lot of things there to condition us, okay? For example, sport control systems. Why is alcohol related to sport? Just think about that for a second. Why is alcohol related to sport. Like in the UK in football, alcohol is on sport adverts. Nearly, I don't really watch adverts anymore, but when I used to, I would say 80% of the time, alcohol was on sport adverts. Okay. Now the control system is known as, well, the higher echelon. There's a word for it. It's called hegemony. It comes from a Greek word called hegemon, which was to lead, like a leader, or hegemonia, which is like supreme leaders leading. Okay, so the root word is hegemony. So it's a group of people, a dominating group over another group. So a dominating elite over other people, for example. Social conditioning can help us grow. It could, and it can make us progress if we were living in a stable and healthy environment, which again, the epigenetics comes in. So the environment affects us. Okay, your environment, you're quite literally absorbing your environment. Okay, you're absorbing the air, you're absorbing the sound, the frequencies that you can't see, the people that are speaking, you're absorbing what they're saying. Even if you're not listening to them, you're still absorbing it. Okay, even if you don't kind of want to, even if you're trying to meditate, and like if you can meditate to stop absorbing it, because you can get into a state where you ignore everything. Okay, and you do kind of stop absorbing your surrounding environment. You go in, and you stop absorbing. You feel like you've melted in with the surrounding environment instead of absorbing it. That's how I feel when I meditate. I just feel one with everything. All of us, if we all understood social conditioning and what's happening in our environment and around us, I really need a drink. And how it's affecting us, and to understand that other people have also been socially conditioned. Okay, so again, like I mentioned before, your family have like set roles and stuff that they perceive. So your family, friends have also been socially conditioned. I'll explain how to kind of not be socially conditioned, because it's kind of semi-impossible. Not impossible, but you can not get conditioned by other people, but it is hard to not let the external influence your internal. But you can get there. So, why is this important? Okay, it is because ideologies help us understand the nature of social control. Okay, and ideologies also create the individual, and that individual shapes the culture. Or if you want to check my other video, cultures, and a cult. All culture are little cults or big cults. Any culture. A football culture is a cult. That's why they have football hooligans that they fight for, or they fight for the team. Isn't that a cult? When you consider people that are fighting so aggressively for a fucking football team a cult, that they're willing to possibly kill someone? Think about that for a second. The culture of the individual shapes the world. Okay, so the cults shape the world. There are very dark cults in control right now, and it's changing rapidly, actually, rather rapidly. I mentioned chemical and psychological warfare early on, didn't I? So what do I mean by that? I'll start with chemical warfare first. So chemical warfare, GMO foods. GMO foods allow more aluminium to come into that food. Aluminium is a toxin to your body. If you don't believe me, Google it. Okay? This is a social conditioning video. I'm not going to explain why it's a toxin to your body. Tap water has aluminium in it. It's basically processed water that's come out of the toilet, the bath. You got poo particles, fluoride. You got loads of shit in tap water, man. You got loads of shit in tap water. Don't drink that shit. Toxic fumes, things like cars. I said this in another video before. I used to wear face masks consciously when I was biking because of car fumes. And now we're unconsciously wearing face masks. People are driving and wearing face masks. Like, why? You're in a car, probably with air conditioning on, wearing a face mask with your windows closed. Why? But yeah, toxic fumes. There's other toxic fumes as well. Obviously, greenhouse gases going around everywhere. Chemtrails. These were actually... They got declassified as geo-weather engineering. Engineering the weather. The weather typically gets engineered when there's stuff happening out of space, so you can't see out of space. So they put clouds at nighttime. That's why you can't see. That's why there's a lot of clouds at nighttime. If you don't believe that they can create the weather, it's known as HAARP, HAARP. There's one in North Wales. I know that from a song. And you can check this video out on YouTube. Jeremy Clarkson weather control. He's literally it's a BBC thing, and he's with a weather control thing, and it sends this big cloud out. And he says in the video, he's like, that cloud's gonna rain on someone later on. No shit, this is like 10 years ago. 10 years ago that they were doing weather control. 10 years ago. Oh, psychological warfare, sorry. Psychological warfare comes in a lot of forms. Advertisements. Media, I mentioned the media before, derived from the goddess of Medea, the goddess of illusion and deceit. Fake images, well, not what I mean by fake, like photoshopped images, but like Instagram stuff, Facebook stuff, social media fakeness, if you know what I mean. Stuff like that. And idols and like celebrities. Sorry, my phone storage got full. One more thing about fake images as well. 9/11. Check out the video on 9/11. It's photoshopped. The plane goes through, supposedly explodes when it's going through, and it continues to go through, and you actually see it pop out the supposed nose of the plane on the video, the news video, pop out the other end. This is on the news video. Okay. Oh yeah, idols. Okay. So we idolize things like celebrities, and this is actually psychological warfare because these celebrities are manipulated by the powers that be. If you haven't gathered that I like to talk about those by this video yet, then I don't know what to say. But yeah, a lot of celebrities are controlled by certain individuals, and celebrities push out certain things. Now, if you haven't heard already, there's a lot of celebrities are in with this Pizzagate thing, the pedo shit that's going on. And a lot of us have been, so the phone kept playing up while trying to finish the video, so I thought I might as well just finish it today. But yeah, idols, a lot of the idols that we have been idolizing have been involved with this whole Pizzagate pedo thing, as well as the church. The church, guess what religion did America and the UK follow? They're Christian cultures, right? Just let that riddle in your mind for a sec. Anyway, so yeah, if you haven't checked out Jim Carrey, he actually goes to a red carpet event and someone's like, what are you doing here, Jim? He's like, finding the most pointless thing I could go to. And then he talks something about idols, so I would just check it on YouTube. It's like Jim Carrey red carpet. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I just wanted to point out something to do with the sports thing that I mentioned. Who owns all of these like media sources and all of these sports companies that are promoting the alcohol, the control is what they're promoting. Sports, imagine all of those people in a stadium staring at one thing, or like a game. Imagine if all of those people started really hating government corruption and austerity. The world would change very, very quickly. Anyway, I believe that is it on social conditioning for today. If you did enjoy, like, comment and subscribe. I know it's a bit of a different kind of social conditioning video than you might be used to, because topics that I speak to are a bit kind of out of space. But this is the sort of thing that society's going through now. And we need to be aware that we are being conditioned by other people. Those other people are being conditioned themselves as well. Remember to take into account that it's not just you being conditioned, it's other people as well. So other people are bringing in their own conditioning into the equation. Okay? So you're conditioned, your friends are conditioned by their family. It's all a big conditioning soup. Anyway, I'm going to flip this whole thing back on you at the end of the video and say that your soul has chose it all. Your soul knew about this type of plane. Unless you're like a new soul, and you're probably thinking, what the fudge am I talking about right now? But you could have been a new soul. This planet has something called a reincarnation trap. Okay? So there's the white light matrix. You basically get trapped here if you don't understand that the white light is not here to take you to heaven, it's here to slip you back into Earth. Anyway, overall, your soul chooses a lot of things in life. It chooses the main circumstances, and then karma kind of plays out the rest. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.